So Jason Hart leaves for SMU. What does that mean for Tyran Stokes and Dink Pate? Um, so Pope was in to see Tyran around March 2nd, or around that early March area. Um, and you could say it's a coincidence, but I really don't think it was. Jason Hart has been going to see him all spring, and Pope is the last coach from all of our coaching staff to go see him. Yeah, I just don't think that's a coincidence at all. Is it possible? Yes, but I just don't think it is. I think Pope knew kind of at the end of January that changes were needed across the board, and that he overcorrected from that first season. You could really just tell. After Pope's last visit, Tyron's coach at Rainier Beach said that Tyron would be setting up another visit after the season concluded. And I realize Coach Hart has been in to see him a lot. I realize that he's been going to see him all year, but the we have not been able to get any traction with him like all season. Jason Hart has been courtside for him, almost what every week, and we still could not get any public traction besides Tyron posting colored hearts about the schools who were recruiting him. Like that's all we could get for Jason Hart basically going out there every single week. And then Pope goes and sees him one time, and we get him coming back in for a visit some point at the end of the season per his high school coach at Rainier Beach. Um, but Bark was able to get him on campus, which is really what matters. And it was the first time that he had talked to him since he had his scuffle at Sherman Oaks, Notre Dame, um, and moved to Rainier Beach. That was the first time he had gone back and talked to him since then, which I think is pretty big. I've heard from a lot of people in the media that they are concerned since Jason Hart went to SMU that we're going to struggle to land Tyron. I just don't think that's the case. We've been recruiting him all season, but it wasn't just Jason Hart. Pope was and still is very included in that recruitment. Um, and I do believe that Tyron is going to be a Kentucky Wildcat at the end of the day. The more time that goes by, it seems like Bill Self is going to retire. His family is definitely concerned about his health, and he even said himself at the end of the season, if he's not 100%, then he doesn't want to continue. And even if Kansas doesn't lose Bill Self, they've got four recruits right now, and I'm sure Taylon Kenny was not cheap at all by any means. Um, so it's really looking like the more time passes that Tyron Stokes is going to be a Kentucky Wildcat. And if you add the fact that Nike wants to keep him in house, it all is really just adding up. Now, Dink Pate, I do think we end up losing him to SMU. They were already recruiting him before Jason Hart had even left. So I do think he ends up going to SMU. But for getting a highly touted point guard in this recruiting class, I mean, this transfer portal class, the transfer portal hasn't even opened, and we've got like what, four or five highly touted point guards um, who have entered their name in. So I'm just really am not that concerned. Dink can go to SMU.